Before we start, I want you to forget everything you think you know about this country. Not because you are wrong, but because the reality is more interesting than the image. This is a history about a place that quickly changes the way people think about life. Today, we are talking about
Japan, the country where nothing works the way you imagine. Before arriving, the Japan that exists in people's minds. Before any plane lands, Japan already exists. It exists in people's minds. A Japan built from fragments, extreme technology, robots, almost military discipline, people who work too much, impossible cities, rigid rules, little room for emotion. For many young people, Japan appears distant, almost unreachable. For others, it looks like a modern dream. For some, it feels cold, harsh, impossible to live in. And that is exactly where the mistake begins. Real Japan does not deny any of these images, it simply shows that they are incomplete. Japan does not work the way the Western imagination expects because it was built by different questions. While many countries asked how to grow faster, Japan asked how to maintain order. While others chased expansion, Japan focused on continuity. That changes everything. Arriving in Japan is not an instant shock. It is a progressive strangeness. You do not feel everything on the first day. The sensation comes in layers, as if the country is testing your attention. The more you observe, the more it reveals itself. The invisible rhythm, time, silence, and behavior. One of the first expectations to break is rhythm. Japan is fast in how it functions, but slow in how it behaves. Trains arrive to the second, yet nobody runs inside them. Streets are busy, but rarely loud. Silence is not the absence of life, it is part of life. Here, time is not treated as something to be conquered, but respected. Punctuality does not exist to pressure people. It exists to avoid wasting someone else's time. That single idea changes the entire atmosphere. You begin to notice that almost nothing in Japan is designed to draw attention. People do not speak loudly. They do not occupy more space than necessary. They do not interrupt. They do not compete visually. There is an unspoken collective agreement. No one is more important than the shared environment. This does not come from strict laws. It comes from culture. And culture, when it is deep, does not need explanation. Money, prices, and the myth of an unreachable Japan. Few countries suffer as much from misconceptions about cost of living as Japan. For many outsiders, Japan automatically equals expensive, luxury, impossible to sustain. This is partly true and deeply misleading. Japan is expensive when you try to live in it as if you were still somewhere else. Japan becomes balanced when you accept the Japanese way of living. Rent in central Tokyo can be high, yes, but smaller apartments are not seen as failure. They are seen as rational choice. Space is used intelligently. Fewer objects, more function. Less accumulation, more order. Food is another positive shock. Eating out in Japan is not a luxury. Simple restaurants offer complete, hot, well-prepared meals at accessible prices. Ramen, curry, bento meals. Convenience stores are not junk food corners. They sell proper meals, rice, fish, noodles, soups, and seasonal food that changes constantly. Japan teaches something subtle about money. It is not about spending less or more. It is about spending correctly. Waste is socially discouraged. Excess feels uncomfortable. Status consumption is rare. Quality is valued over quantity. Objects are repaired, not replaced impulsively. You begin spending less not because someone tells you to, but because the environment guides you there. Transport, infrastructure, and the meaning of reliability. Japanese transport is famous, but rarely understood. It is not just fast or punctual, it is reliable. That changes daily life entirely. You do not leave early out of fear of delays. You do not live in constant alert mode. You trust the system. And when a society trusts its systems, collective stress drops. Trains, subways, buses all follow clear logic. Signs do not shout. They guide. Stations are dense but organized. People know where to go because they learned by watching others. Reliability creates mental freedom. Many young people only understand this after living in places where nothing works well. Japan does not solve every problem, but it solves the basics with excellence. That creates space to live better. The 5 major cities and their separate worlds. Tokyo, the living organism. Tokyo is not one city. It is many cities connected by rails and habits. Each neighborhood feels like its own universe. It is massive, yet intimate when you choose your place. Space is limited, but respect is abundant. Tokyo does not embrace you. It allows you to exist. Kyoto, preserved time. Kyoto is memory in motion, not a museum, but an old book still being read every day. Tradition here is not performance, it is practice. The pace is slower, the silence deeper. Kyoto proves that progress does not need to erase the past. It can carry it forward. Osaka, direct humanity. Osaka is conversation, food and warmth. People are more open, more direct. Street food culture is strong, prices are friendlier, humor is part of daily life. Osaka breaks the stereotype of the distant Japanese personality. Hiroshima, dignity of memory. Hiroshima does not live in trauma, but it does not escape it. The city rebuilt itself with intention. Peace is not a slogan here, it is posture. Costs are lower, community stronger. Hiroshima teaches that memory does not have to paralyze a nation, it can guide it. Sapporo, the northern Japan. Sapporo feels spacious, colder, closer to nature. Snow defines life. Winter is not an inconvenience, it is identity. Living costs tend to be lower, rhythm calmer. Japan here breathes differently. Work, purpose, and the Western misunderstanding. Work in Japan is one of the most misunderstood subjects in the world. Not because problems do not exist, but because the outside view is shallow. Work here is not about climbing fast. It is about fulfilling your role well. Hierarchy exists, but it is functional rather than authoritarian. Respect comes from consistency, not self-promotion. This gives security to some and pressure to others. Japan is aware of this. The country debates balance openly. Change happens slowly, but deliberately. For young people feeling lost, Japan offers a different idea. Before trying to be exceptional, be reliable. This is not empty motivation, it is foundation building. Health, education, and everyday life. Japan's healthcare system is universal, accessible, and efficient. Not perfect, but predictable. Predictability brings calm. Education emphasizes discipline, collective effort, and responsibility. Students learn early that they belong to something larger. Daily life is built on small rituals. Removing shoes, sorting trash, respecting lines, constant gratitude. At first, it feels excessive. Later, it feels comforting. Curiosities that reveal the real country. Vending machines exist everywhere, not because people are lazy, but because society is safe. Silence is not repression, it is care. Bowing is not submission, it is recognition. Traditions are not nostalgia, they are continuity. Japan does not run on fear of punishment. It runs on discomfort with disorder. Japan and those who want to change their lives. For young people between 18 and 30, Japan offers no easy promises. It offers structure. For those who want to work, study, restart, or simply understand the world, Japan does not sell fantasy. It delivers organized reality. Not everyone adapts, not everyone stays, but almost everyone leaves changed. Japan is the country where nothing works the way you imagine because it was not built to satisfy external expectations. It was built to last. It shows that silence can be strength, that order can be freeing, that tradition does not block progress, that a good life does not need to be loud. You do not leave Japan wanting to copy it. You leave questioning how much noise your own life truly needs, and that question, asked at the right moment, can change everything.
If this videos made you see this country in a different way, then it did its job. Not to convince you to move here, but to make you question what kind of life you want to build. If you enjoy calm, honest stories about countries, culture and real life, consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video!